A sucker also needs to fall in love. Few details. I traveled back to 20 years ago. At that time, my husband hadn't been imprisoned for saving me. It was said that he was still an outstanding schoolgrass with excellent character and learning in school. However, who can tell me who that hooligan in a white t-shirt and slippers at the school gate is? On our 10th wedding anniversary, I accidentally traveled through time. At that time, this old man Leo was hugging my shoulder and whining, asking if I got married to him because of repaying a kindness. This scene is staged once a year. I slapped him backhandedly and told him to go and step on the sewing machine in his own factory if he was really bored. Yes, Leo was kind to me. 20 years ago, I was almost violated by a group of drunk hooligans. He smashed a box of wine bottles and saved me. But he was put in jail for excessive defense and stayed there for 4 years. On the day he was released from prison, I picked him up and then began a 5-year-long persistent pursuit of him. In that era, college students were still in high demand. Others all thought I was crazy. Instead of choosing so many outstanding young men, I had to chase after this ex-convict. But in my heart, I was determined that I would only marry him in this life. My pursuit was fierce and long-lasting. Leo's attitude towards me finally changed from indifference and rejection at the beginning to half-hearted rejection, and then to being completely devoted. Heh. With his little reserved and coquettish look. Can't I handle him? The two of us walked forward supporting each other all the way. And his career finally began to pick up. Slowly, the voices opposing us being together became less and more. More and more people praised me for having good vision, praised him for being loyal, and praised us for being a perfect match. But no one knows how we got through these years. Before going to sleep, Leo buried his face in my shoulder hollow and clung tightly to me. Joey, it's a pity that I didn't meet you earlier. My nose tingled and I gently uttered and meh. So do I. If time could turn back, I must meet him at the best age. Study and work with him. And then have a passionate love affair. I don't want to like that cowardly and indifference comeback ex-boyfriend anymore. I don't want to be fooled around by my green tea best friend anymore. And I don't want to go to the bar at night because of her lie and ruin Leo's great future. I want to learn to be brave and confident and appear in front of Leo in the best way. Unexpectedly, when I woke up the next day, I really returned to 20 years ago. When I saw the familiar and unfamiliar furnishings in the room, I realized that I had really traveled through time. I sprang up from the bed like a carp, accidentally bumping into the stool by the bed and grimacing in pain. In the next second, Mom and Dad rushed in from outside the door with nervous expressions on their faces. Joey, what's wrong with you? Looking at the cautious expressions on their faces, my eyes immediately reddened. In high school, because of my parents' job transfers, I transferred to underdeveloped City I, and met my green tea best friend and desk mate. It was also because of her that I, who was originally quite cheerful, became more and more withdrawn. Finally, I was diagnosed with mild depression, which made my parents worry and work hard for me for many years. At that time, I had a better developed figure. She told me that female classmates in the class were all scolding me as a coquettish fox, behind my back. When I got the first place in exams with good grades, she said that my classmates all thought I cheated and tore up my test paper. My family is well off. Just because I wear a few beautiful clothes. She said that classmates all think I am deliberately showing off that I am rich and from a big city, and looking down on them. At school, my classmates don't pay much attention to me either. This makes me, who is new here, feel extremely lonely and wronged. Gradually, I dare not wear well-tailored clothes anymore. I dare not get good grades in exams anymore. I go to school in a sloppy way every day wearing a loose school uniform. I dare not look at and talk to my classmates in class. It seems that their smiles all carry a hint of contempt and disdain. Later, when I met my former high school classmate in the business field, I found out that all of this was planned by Mia. At that time, Mia said that you had a very serious mental illness and told us not to disturb you if it's not necessary so as not to stimulate you. Otherwise, with your grades, How could the classmates in our class let you go? We would worship you as a god of learning. It turns out that those people who I once feared, hated and even resented are actually so innocent and sincere. And the one I firmly believed in was hiding in the dark and hurting me. Fortunately, during those years when I was sick, my parents always accompanied me without complaint, giving me unconditional support and meticulous company. It's nothing. I held back my tears and affectionately grabbed my mother's hand. It's just that I haven't had mom's chicken and mushroom soup for so long. I really want to drink it. Mom was stunned for a moment. Immediately, her slightly tired eyes were filled with excitement and joy. Even when she spoke, the corners of her mouth were unconsciously trembling slightly. Okay. Good. Good. Mom will go buy groceries right now and stew it for you tonight. When she turned around and saw that my dad was still grinning foolishly, she knocked hard on his head again. What are you doing in a daze? Doctored to buy groceries. And I opened the closet and took out all the beautiful little skirts that were at the bottom of the box. Today is Friday. If I hurry over now, I might still be able to meet Leo at the school gate next door. According to him, he used to be a real handsome heartthrob. If I don't dress up well, what if I am outshone by the girls next to him? I carefully chose and put on a goose yellow long dress that Leo likes the most. I took out the pearl necklace given to me by my grandfather, and tied a simple and elegant princess braid in front of the mirror. After doing all this, I admired myself in front of the mirror for a long time before going out beautifully with a parasol. Leo, your dear wife is coming. Damn it. I almost couldn't make it. The summer in Chuan City is really impolite. The sun is so scorching as if it wants to sunburn me to death on the way. It's not time for class to end yet. I plan to take shelter from the sun at the tape stall at the gate, under the half-old sunshade. A person is half lying in a rocking chair with his face covered. His skin is very white, and his long legs that have nowhere to rest are half bent and propped on the ground. On his feet are a pair of white flip-flops. His feet are long and thin. There are 2 marks on them from the sun, making the surrounding skin extremely striking. A chubby boy is sitting on a small stool beside him. His face is dark. While fanning himself, he is looking down at the book in his hand. When I walked over, the little fat man immediately put down the book and greeted me very warmly. Little beauty, what kind of CDS do you like? Actually, I just wanted to take shelter from the sun. Since he is so attentive, I can't refuse. So I simply squatted down and flipped through them. Don't tell me. Although the stall is small, its taste in selecting products is still quite good. After carefully looking through it, I really found the early music CD of my favorite idol. I casually asked, "Are there any more?" The little fat man's smile suddenly froze for a moment. Suddenly, he seemed to be thirsty and licked his mouth. Sister, you should still be in school at your age, right? I was stunned for a moment. Yes. What's wrong? He scratched his head. Sorry. Brother Yuan won't let me sell those CDs to students. Those CDs? I frowned. But in an instant I understood what he meant when I saw his slightly red earlobes. Immediately, I was a bit amused and exasperated. Well, being misunderstood by a kid of coming out to buy strange things. I pushed the tape in my hand forward. You're mistaken. I just want to ask if there are any other tapes of the singer. He chuckled. It's okay. I often encounter girls coming to buy this. It's no big deal. Me. I was anxious. I really just came to buy tapes of this singer. This time he didn't refute, but still showed a simple yet polite smile. Fine. I won't buy it. I angrily returned the tape. This time, the little chubby kid was stunned. Suddenly, the person on the rocking chair let out a soft laugh. Then, under the gaze of both of us, he lazily turned over. It's okay. You two continue arguing. Is this laughing at me? The little chubby kid was still foolishly explaining to me. This is my brother Yuan. I rolled my eyes in my heart. Who cares who this is to you? But classes in school won't end for a while. And I'm embarrassed to occupy his umbrella for nothing. So in the end, I still reluctantly bought the tape. Oh well. Just a kid. How can I be as petty as them? Sister. On such a hot day. Are you waiting for someone here? The little chubby kid started a conversation with me. Out of nowhere. I had an urge to talk. Then I continued. Waiting for my husband. The person on the reclining chair couldn't help but let out a faft, and laughed again. I jumped up at once. What are you laughing at? Although he doesn't know me yet and I don't know what he looks like. I will definitely make him like me. I don't know if these words are said for him to hear or for myself to hear. To be honest, I'm not sure if Leo at this age will like me. The little chubby kid quickly came out to smooth things over. If you don't know what he looks like, with so many people coming and going in the school, you'll have a hard time looking for him. Hey, but do you know his name? Our brother Yuan has a wide network. Maybe he can help you find him. Really? I was a bit tempted. After all, there are so many people in the school. At that time, Leo didn't tell me which grade and class he was in. Although the teenager in the reclining chair is very annoying, I still reported Leo's name, treating a dead horse as if it were a living one. Leo. The goo as in goo pan. The Yuan as in abyss. Oh, what a coincidence. The little chubby kid excitedly shook the person on the reclining chair. Brother Yuan. It turns out it's your little fangirl. What the heck is a little fangirl? I coldly glanced at the person lying on the chair. This guy is actually also called Leo. Huh. It should be the same name. Leo said that when he was young, he was a child of heaven. A child of heaven at this time must be seriously attending classes in the classroom. But my eyes couldn't help but take a closer look again. This person's white t-shirt was a bit wrinkled from sleeping. The dark-colored long shorts barely reached his knees, revealing a not very obvious black and white boundary line. He is quite fair-skinned. It's just that his face is covered. I don't know what he looks like. I took another look and then covered my eyes in pain. Damn it. Why does it look more and more alike? For who is it? The person on the lounge chair finally woke up. First, he stretched himself for a long time. Then, like a lazy donkey going to the mill, he slowly lifted the peaked cap covering his face. With his hands on both sides of the chair, he got up slowly with his eyes squinted. Perhaps the sunlight was too dazzling. With his eyes half closed, he reached out and ruffled his somewhat messy hair. I was immediately shocked and rooted to the spot. This face can't be said to be a little similar. It can only be said to be exactly the same. It's simply a reduced version in equal proportions. Especially those fox eyes that are always half closed. In the past, they seemed refined and warm. Now, for no reason, there is a bit more rascal ity. Good for you, Leo. You really dare to boast. You said you are the favored one attracting countless attentions. Unexpectedly, you are just setting up a stall and selling pirated tapes at the school gate. And it's still a partnership. Leo didn't notice a certain intense emotion in my eyes. Smiling, he asked, Little sister, do you know me? I sneered in my heart. Not only do I know you, I even know there is a mole on your waist. But I held back. I shook my head innocently, showing what I thought was the most charming smile to men, and smiled sweetly. I didn't know you before, but I will know you soon. Leo smiled in a nonchalant way. If you want to know me, fine. Buy a box of CDs first. I shook the thing in my hand. I've bought it. Can it be the same? He leaned against the shelf beside him with a smile. Don't I even worth a box of CDs in a little sister's heart? This is moral kidnapping, right? This must be moral kidnapping. I gritted my teeth. Okay. Then I'll buy another box. What kind do you want? He looked at me with a smile in his eyes. Although he said nothing, I read a hint of teasing from his eyes. This is deliberately making fun of me for buying that pornographic thing just now. Am I afraid of you? I remained calm. Get one with a bit of color. Oh? He pretended to be surprised and grinned. The little sister is quite wild. Still a bit worse than you. This sentence is truly from my heart. Unexpectedly. Leo is so young but already so good at flirting. He rummaged through them. Suddenly, he popped out a sentence. Little sister. What grade are you in senior high school? Second grade. What's wrong? He didn't answer me and continued rummaging. After searching for a few minutes, he finally slapped a CD on the counter. The cover of the CD is very bold. At a glance, it is a famous tutoring series. Well, this one is more suitable for you. After saying that, he gave an unseemly smile. I really am convinced by the sneaky guy. Didn't he say that he wouldn't sell such CDs to students? But the words have already been spoken. I could only pay with a constipated expression on my face, and then quickly stuff the CD into my bag at lightning speed. With my back to the school gate. Although the students haven't finished school yet, I have a feeling of being seen by everyone. The bag in my hand began to feel scorching hot. And I couldn't hold it any longer in the next second. I've bought the CD. Now let's get to know each other. I extended my hand. I'm Joey. I will be your girlfriend from now on and also your future wife. You have to remember it well. Leo was stunned for a moment and suppressed a smile. I've remembered it. Let's go home quickly. I took out my phone. Then tell me your contact information. He spread his hands. I don't have a mobile phone. Really? I remember that his family conditions have always been quite good. How could he not even have a mobile phone? So you just tricked me into buying the CD purely? I got a little angry. Does your crappiest all rely on your superstitious acts to attract business every day? A little fat man chimed in at the right time. Well, actually, this is my stall. Leo now laughed so hard that he almost couldn't hold my hand. He casually raised his eyebrows. How about this? If you come here to buy CDs again next time, I'll give you my contact information. What do you think? Another sales pitch? Oh boy. This is taking others for fools if they don't get angry. I gave him a humiliated glare. Then you wait. Wait and see how I'll deal with you when I get you. You jerk. 5 When I got home, my parents were still busily working in the kitchen, seeing me coming in from outside. They both showed incredulous looks. Oh, indeed. As usual. I should be locked in my room now without saying a word. Not to mention going out. It's even difficult to come out for a meal. Mom and Dad. Just rest assured. I've already figured it out. It's no big deal. I made you worry before. I will cheer up from now on. I poured myself a glass of water, and drank it in one gulp. Seeing my dad coming out of the kitchen, I quickly called out to him. By the way, Dad. I want to transfer schools. I remember that Dad had mentioned transferring me to another school long ago. But I was concerned about Mia. My only friend. And had never agreed. It should have been like this long ago. Where does our Joey want to go to school? Go to No. 2 middle school next door. The sooner the better. It would be best if I could catch up with their summer remedial classes. Because my mental state has improved a lot. The whole family was very happy at the dinner table tonight. After finishing the meal, I greeted my parents and went into my room to study. After all, I had missed a lot of lessons due to illness. If I don't work hard now, it will be difficult to return to my peak level. Before entering the room, Mom called out to me. By the way, Mia called to ask if you will go to school on Monday. She said it's urgent. I sneered inwardly. What urgent matter could there be? It's nothing more than that she has no money, and wants to take advantage of me. This big sucker. Mia's family condition is not particularly good. But because she studies hard and is also very beautiful, she is popular in the class. I also like her very much. In the past, when she asked me to borrow money, I never hesitated and didn't care at all whether she would pay me back in the end. But she was so good that she really took me as a sheep and took advantage of me without restraint. Today she has no money for meals. Tomorrow her clothes are in tatters. Later, when she took advantage of me too much and felt embarrassed. She even took advantage of me in the name of my ex-boyfriend. At that time, Mia brought me notes and said that Ryan specially lent them to me and said that he wanted to be friends with me. I opened the notes and found several small pieces of paper sandwiched inside. On them were all words of encouragement. The handwriting is elegant and the strokes are warm. It's hard not to be attracted. And every time after that, I could almost always find those few pieces of paper carrying too many thoughts inside. As time passed, I was attracted by this seemingly cold-hearted but inwardly delicate and warm big boy. For me at that time, every bit of kindness from others was extremely precious. Not to mention that Ryan could be considered half a class heartthrob in the class. Which young girl doesn't have a spring in her heart? Finally, it seems that with Mia's help, we were together in a muddled way. Now when I think about it, it seems that Ryan has never confessed to me properly. His attitude towards me is also quite cold usually. At least he is not as sincere and gentle as on the notes. At that time, I was still filled with joy and thought that even if everyone didn't like me, at least I still had the two of them. So when the scam was torn apart in front of me, I realized that the truth was so bloody. There is no big hero and no little angel. Ryan didn't give me the notes and also denied his liking for me. He just listened to his goddess's words and self-righteously satisfied a mentally ill girl's thoughts, giving me a hasty bit of kindness. And my good best friend is even more puzzling to me. Perhaps it's jealousy. Jealousy of my happy and perfect family. Jealousy of my comfortable life. Or perhaps it's unwillingness. Unwilling to have my position as a top student and class beauty easily taken away by me. But none of these are important. No matter what the reason is, it can't be a reason for her to deceive and hurt me. I will never forget Ryan, who watched me being violated from a distance, but didn't dare to step forward that day. And I will never forget that strange young man covered in blood who stood in front of me. 6 on Monday. I dressed up beautifully and went to school in my dad's car. As soon as I got out of the car, I felt all kinds of gazes cast on me and they were all curiously looking at me. Indeed, the students in our school are all dressed quite simply. I should be the first one to be so ostentatious. But after all, I am a woman who has been in the limelight. I still think this dressing is not delicate enough. But when their gazes fell on me, my body still subconsciously stooped. The inferiority and timidity of the past have been written into my muscles. Even though I have a different state of mind now, I still have lingering fears. I forcibly corrected my muscle memory, slightly raised my chin, and smiled brightly at all kinds of gazes. Then, under everyone's gaze, I casually bought a steamer of my favorite small steamed buns and walked into the classroom with my head held high and chest out, taking steps of I am the queen. As soon as I entered, Mia came up. Unexpectedly. After so many years of not seeing each other, I can still recognize her among the crowd at the first sight. Joey. You are here. Although Mia said this to me, her eyes were staring straight at my breakfast. I casually brushed aside her hand. Yes. Long time no see. Mia. The gazes of my classmates were all vaguely on me. A few classmates' eyes also flashed a hint of amazement. I pretended to be unintentional and increased my volume. As if announcing. I said in the class, I am much better now and can attend classes normally from now on. Mia was a bit stunned. Fortunately, she reacted quickly and immediately put on a smile again. That's great. I'm really happy for you. I nodded, walked directly past her and sat down in my seat. Then I began to eat buns attentively, tasting this familiar taste again. I felt as if I had returned home. Happiness was about to overflow. During this period, Mia looked at me several times and seemed to want to say something but stopped. I pretended not to see. Finally, she pulled my sleeve with an ugly expression. Joey, didn't you bring breakfast for Ryan today? I pretended to suddenly remember. Oh no, I really forgot. She swallowed and tentatively said, there's still not that long before class. Why don't we go and buy something together? I looked at the time and smacked my lips. Forget it. There are only 10 minutes left. He won't die of hunger if he skips a meal. Mia's eyes widened. Isn't this not good? What's not good about this? I casually stuffed the last bun into my mouth. My mouth bulging. I glanced at her again and chuckled. He is my boyfriend. If I don't feel sorry for him. Why do you feel sorry? Mia was stunned again. She probably couldn't understand why, after just 1 or 2 weeks without seeing me. My mind suddenly became as sharp as if it had been waxed. While she was stunned, I took out my math textbook and placed it on the desk. Okay. I was just joking. Don't take it too hard. Concentrate on class. Mia probably didn't have the mind to attend this class. But the more distressed she was, the happier I was. After a class, not only did I review the knowledge points once, but I also enthusiastically raised my hand and answered several questions, which shocked the bald homeroom teacher and my classmates. After class, Mia had to pester me to go to the canteen to buy something. Ryan should still be hungry. Let's buy something for him. What? Is this really like offering love? Just because I didn't bring breakfast one day? 2 people are hungry. Okay then. You can call him along. Hearing this, Ryan gave me a cold glance and got up reluctantly. I looked at him up and down like looking at a piglet. Although his face is not bad, I don't know why he always has a sullen look on his face. As if someone knows him something. Walking on the road, I couldn't help sighing that humans are really famous for being double standard. They are one way when they like someone and another way when they don't. If Leo were like this, in my eyes, he would probably be a cold and aloof male god. Thinking of this, the young Leo I saw a few days ago suddenly popped into my mind. TSK. It doesn't seem to be much better. He looked like a hooligan, lying there with his head covered, looking like a pure victim. Oh, the CD I bought a few days ago is still at home. I have to find time to see what his taste is. Joey, slow down. It wasn't until Mia's voice came from behind that I came to my senses. Looking back, I found that I had been so lost in thought that I had run far away, like I was stepping on a wind-fire wheel. The 2 of them were left walking side by side behind. TSK. Needless to say, they do look quite well matched. When we arrived at the canteen, I took a casual look inside. Since there was nothing I liked to eat, I came out directly. The 2 of them were left inside picking and choosing. Finally, they chose a bunch of snacks that Mia likes. When it was time to pay, Mia was holding the things with a smile on her face and looking at me at the door with hope in her eyes. Tilting her head, I let out a yell. What are you standing there for? Pay up. This time, Mia was completely stunned. In just half a day, she was like a dullard and had been stupid in front of me several times. Indeed, in the past, I should have happily paid for her, and then carried this pile of stuff to the classroom. But things are different now. A trace of uneasiness flashed across Mia's face. Needless to say, she didn't have so much money at all. Now the pressure is on Ryan. He frowned, pursed his lips, looking a bit pained, but still silently paid the money. Well, seeing his expression, it doesn't seem like he loves her that much. He's not happy to pay this little money. But looking at the aggrieved and unlucky looks of these 2 people, I'm really on top of the world with excitement. This feeling of excitement lasted until school was over. Mia, with her school bag on her back, was being coy and wanted to take a ride in my dad's car. I flatly refused. I'm going to see a friend tonight, so I won't go home with you. Before she could speak, I ran away without looking back with my school bag on my back. Are you kidding? Who would still care about you? There was only one sentence hanging in my mind. Tonight I must get Leo's number. 7. When I arrived at the small shabby stall, most of the students from the school had already left. It seemed that business was good today. The little fat guy was counting money with his head down and grinning from ear to ear. I tapped on the shelf. Little boss, Where's your brother Yuan? The little fat guy was also very surprised to see me when he looked up. Sister is here again. Brother Yuan is not here at this time. He should be in the internet cafe. Well, he hasn't done a single proper thing until now. I fiddled with the CDs on the shelf. Oh, there are new arrivals? Yes. They just arrived today. My brother Yuan picked them. Brother Yuan. Brother Yuan. I can't see that this little follower is quite loyal to Leo. Did you and Leo open the stall together? The little fat guy was a bit embarrassed. Actually, I opened it. Brother Yuan is a nice person and often comes to help me watch the stall. Well, and by the way, he uses his good looks to attract business for you. I added in my heart. Brother Yuan has a very good eye. Everything he buys sells very well. Without him, I definitely wouldn't be able to gather enough money for my mother's surgery fee. I raised my eyebrows and looked at this little fat guy with some surprise. Looking at his age, he should have been sitting happily in the classroom. Now, however, he has shouldered the burden of life too early. You are also very impressive. I sincerely praised. I picked out 2 of the latest CDs from the pile and pushed them forward. Take 2. The little fat guy was very happy. You are an old customer. Next time you come, I'll give you a discount. Oh, you are quite good at doing business. It's what my brother Yuan taught me. The little fat guy's tone was full of unconcealed pride and admiration. Then let me ask you something. Your brother Yuan is so powerful. Why didn't he go to class? The chubby boy scratched his head. He applied for dropping out of school when he was in his 2nd year of high school. Oh? Dropped out? Seeing my look of disbelief, this diehard fan of Leo quickly explained. In fact, Brother Yuan is very smart. His grades have always been very good. The teacher said he could definitely be admitted to college. I no longer have any expectations for the words of this fan with a 7-foot thick filter. Oh. Then what did this prospective college student do after dropping out? The chubby boy hemmed and hawed for a long time. Finally, he blurted out. Anyway, he has his own difficulties. Oh, this is like putting on a grand drama. I took the bag from his hand. Okay. Then tell me which internet cafe Leo is in. I'll go and ask him myself. Following his words, I found an internet cafe. As soon as I entered, I was almost driven away by the smell of smoke inside. Good grief. Do these people all smoke dry tobacco? Isn't that layer of gas up there like dry I saw secondhand smoke? Looking around, the entire unlicensed internet cafe is filled with a haze of smoke. There is a layer of white smoke floating on top. In the middle, there is the smell of instant noodles and sweat. Occasionally, a whiff of the sour smell of feet will drift by. The electric fan is whirring around, mixing the smells together. It's very captivating. Pinching my nose, I walk inside and finally found Leo in the innermost corner. This time he has changed into a black t-shirt. The whole person is curled up in the chair, looking careless. His slender fingers are flying up and down. His hand strength is so great that he could smash the keyboard under his hands. Just as I was about to go up and talk to him, I heard him say in a lazy voice, "Okay, Auntie. Then I'll play with you next time." For some reason, the meme of Auntie has a little money suddenly popped into my mind. Oh no. Oh no. Is Leo so young and already doesn't want to work hard? Leo. I called out to him angrily. Leo was cracking his knuckles. Hearing someone call him, he looked back in surprise. After seeing my face clearly, he was stunned for a moment, and then immediately took off his headphones. Not bad. Little sister. You're quite persistent. In a fit of pique, I took out CDs from my bag. Cut the crap. As you said. CDs for your number. Leo looked at the CDs and then at me, with an expression of someone actually took it seriously. Reluctant as he was, he didn't dawdle after all. He took a pen from the table, bit the pen cap, and quickly wrote on the packaging of my CD. While writing, he said, Take it and go home. Don't come here again in the future. I was a little flattered and a little angry. Do you give your number to just anyone who asks for it? He stopped writing. His expression was a little helpless. What did I do now? His tone was as if he was indulging his unreasonable little girlfriend. I was pleased by his expression. It was at this moment that the teenager in front of me and Leo in real life finally miraculously and perfectly overlapped. I don't care. I'll make a call to try. What if you're deceiving me? Sure enough. In the next second, the mobile phone of the internet cafe owner rang. The man's loud voice came out of the microphone. Who is it? I hurriedly hung up the phone. As I turned around, Leo beside me was holding back his laughter until his face turned red. As soon as I hung up the phone, he immediately burst out laughing unrestrainedly. You little girl are quite clever, I said in a harsh tone. Are you a man? How can you not keep your word? After he had laughed enough, there was still a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. I didn't lie to you. That phone was really mine before. Oh, now you use it to pay for the internet fee? He chuckled again. That's my dad. This internet cafe is run by my family. After I stopped studying, he took the phone back. Who is he? My expression was as if I had seen a ghost. This middle-aged man who looks like he can eat 3 cat ties in one meal is actually my elegant and easygoing future father-in-law? I patted the non-existent dust on my body. Then I'll go and say hello to my future father-in-law. Leo? He was so angry that he laughed instead. Are you too deeply involved in the act? Leo, this person, is quite kind when he is joking around. But when he is really angry, he is still quite intimidating. I took a few steps on the spot and then sat down like a little chick again. Indeed, I was a bit too hasty. He is still not familiar with me now. We need to take it slow. But I still looked at him very seriously and said, but I will really be your wife in the future. Don't you believe me? Leo's hard-won seriousness was broken again in a second. I said, why do you have to pester me? I said, you will be my husband in the future. We will love each other very much. He was amused. Little girls are not shy at all. I looked at him seriously. Why should I be shy with my own husband? I don't know if it was my illusion, but I seemed to see Leo's earlobes finally slowly turning red. Are you shy? He touched his nose. Well, a little. Unexpectedly. Leo actually admitted it generously. He considered his tone and moved his lips. Finally, he smiled and said objectively, you are really bold. I'll take it as him complimenting me. By the way, I simply took the opportunity to press on and asked him, then can you tell me why you applied for dropping out of school before? He was a little surprised. Who said I dropped out? The little fat guy can also lie? I was expelled. You are noble. You are great. You were expelled. He didn't answer my question. Instead, he leaned back leisurely and put his hand on the chair. But these are not things you should worry about. I've given you the number. If you have nothing to do, go home quickly. I was stubborn. You can't control me. Calling me, little girl, all day long. Now he is only 1 or 2 years older than me. It sounds like there is a generation gap. Oh. He gave me a sidelong glance. Just now you were calling, husband, so sweetly. Now it's mind your own business? I couldn't hold back and covered my face and laughed. Damn it. This guy's sarcastic look is quite interesting. Okay. I'm leaving. I packed up my things and walked outside. Leo also stood up for some reason. He twisted his waist and stretched his neck. The joints in his body made cracking sounds. Just like the second uncle next door. I had a hint of disgust on my face. Can you act like a young person? He looked innocent. What did I do again? Bah. I rolled my eyes. The husband I chose myself. I have to marry him even on my knees. As soon as I went out, Leo also followed slowly. Although he is only 17 or 18 years old, he is already over 1.8 meters tall. His shoulders are very wide and thin. He is thin but not emaciated. Because he has been huddled in front of the computer for a long time, he is a bit hunched. He followed slowly behind me like this. He neither spoke nor looked at me. He just followed aimlessly. He was even more like an old man taking a stroll at night. "Oh, are you worried about me?" I deliberately teased him. He was too lazy to look at me. "There's no way. Who made me so that I had to call you over? Leo has such a bad temper. Apart from that place. His mouth is the toughest. Could it be that you have fallen in love with me?" He was choked and laughed. "With such a good attitude. Your life must be very wonderful." It's okay." I snorted. After walking a few more steps, I felt that I was at a disadvantage again, and felt uncomfortable. I turned around again and said firmly, "Don't think I don't know. You must be overjoyed to be able to send me back." Leo couldn't hold back anymore. Yes. I'll wake up laughing in the middle of the night today." 9 After winning against Leo, I was as happy as a victorious rooster and walked in front arrogantly. When we reached downstairs, he waved at me from afar. The way he put his hands in his pockets was inexplicably cool again. Sometimes handsome and sometimes ugly. He is quite changeable. Don't go to internet cafes anymore. There are all kinds of people in that place. I stared at him directly. There was a hint of charming meaning in my tone. "What about you? Are you a bad person?" He was angry and smiling. "Why do I feel that the bad person in your mouth is not the same as the one in my mouth?" I couldn't help laughing either. Although Leo is flirtatious now, he is just all talk. Inside, he is still just a pure young man. I hummed twice. "Don't worry. Before I catch you, I will still go there often." After saying that, I went upstairs singing a little tune. As a result, as soon as I opened the door, I found my mother and my father crying in each other's arms. My father's snot was about to be sucked in but not sucked in. It was very embarrassing. When our 6 eyes met, the 3 of us were so embarrassed that we couldn't say a word. It's over. I forgot to report my late return home at night. For the next half an hour, my father was busy reporting safety to teachers and relatives. And I sat on the sofa obediently and was scolded. "Tell me, how old are you? Don't you know to call and say something when you come home late? Don't you know to charge your phone when it's out of power? Do you know how worried your father and I are about you?" I lowered my head guiltily. "I'm used to going out to play at night. I haven't been here long after passing through." For a moment, I forgot about the curfew. "Dad. Mom. I'm sorry. I won't do it again." Fortunately, me especially called us to tell us. Otherwise, we would be even more clueless. After saying this sentence, my mom sat down beside me again with a serious expression. She said that it seemed that you went to find a male classmate. Is there such a thing? Huh? My fists clenched. Good for you. Mia. You casually made up something and it turned out to be surprisingly accurate. I nonchalantly took out the CD from my school bag. No. I just felt bored and went to buy a CD. I took a walk when I came back, and didn't do anything else. My mom looked at me skeptically. Really? I took out the CD. It's just that the study pressure has been relatively high recently. So I want to relax. As soon as these words were spoken, my mom immediately felt sorry for me. She didn't even let me wash the dishes. I escaped a disaster and slipped into my room, holding the CD in my hand. I remembered the Tudor limited edition I bought a few days ago. Immediately, I found the DVD that was bought for me to take video courses. Let me see what you, a reserved person, watch secretly. Before I could put it in, my mom suddenly opened the door and walked in with an apologetic look on her face. Baby. Mom has self-reflected just now and thinks that what she said before was really too harsh. So I want to come over. Come over. Her gaze fell precisely on the cover of my CD. Suddenly, she couldn't say a word, probably thinking that what was said before was not harsh enough. The atmosphere in the room suddenly became very awkward. My mind was racing frantically, trying to come up with a reasonable excuse. Unexpectedly, my mom withdrew her gaze, took 2 steps back calmly with a composed expression. If you are studying, then mom won't disturb you. Go to bed early. After saying that, she closed the door without looking back. I looked down at the CD in my hand and suddenly felt that it was neither appropriate to put it away, or to put it away, or to put it in. Forget it. Since I've already lost face, I should at least take a quick look. As the screen flashed, a beautiful teacher in professional attire appeared under my expectant gaze. She began to teach English in fluent English. Then teach.